Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Amy.
Nice to see you. Oh, I'm back in Boulder. Here I am with a good friend of mine, I think.
Yes.
And she has something special to share, I think, about feet and something kind of near to my heart about my own feet. So, what you got?
So, this is also a Joe Pilates piece of equipment. He called it the toe corrector. You might hear toe gizmo. He made actually 2 pieces of equipment specifically for feet. That's how important he thought feet were in the whole scheme of living. And so the toe corrector has many exercises, but I'm going to show one that you can do at home really easily. You can sit on the side of your bed before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. You can sit in a chair. You can find a place that feels comfortable to you. You can do as much or as little of it as you like, 1 toe or all 10. I'm going to do it for Amy on 1 foot, and then I'm going to have her do it on her other foot so that you can see the different methods that a person might use to get the most out of what they're doing, which is a very small thing. So, but at first I'm going to ask Amy to just kind of stand here for a minute, sort of get a feel for what do my feet feel like on the floor, where am I in gravity, you know, do I feel tension in my low back or my neck, whatever, take stock a little bit so that you can have, and this is a good thing to do before any little homework exercises, you can have a before and an after to prove to yourself that yes, indeed, that was worth it because I feel better in these ways. Okay, so Amy's taken stock, so now she's going to sit up on the Cadillac with her feet on the short box. Now, the toe correctors that you can buy out in the world look something like this. These are Balanced Body's toe gizmos. Grotz makes them, they look a little different. And one is easy and one is much harder. And you can make your own. You can get used, here I went to Staples and I got big rubber bands and I tied them together, which gives me more of the distance so that the legs can be a little easier, a little further apart from one another. But you can do it with the broccoli rubber bands, those big, thick purple and blue ones, and you can use those too. So you can find what works. Too thin, probably wouldn't feel comfortable. You could use Live Strong bracelets. You could make a Chinese jump rope out of it. Yeah. Okay, so you can do any of those kind of things as long as it gives you some resistance. And in this particular exercise, you could be holding it from the top, or you could be holding it with all your fingers from the knot. That part doesn't matter because we're not going to be using the official toe gizmo anyway. All right, so you can start at the big toe or the little toe, either way, and we're going to go 1 toe after another. And you will get good product out of this no matter how well you do the exercise. So don't worry too much about that. But if you're a Pilates teacher and you're going to be teaching this to other clients, then you can watch a little bit how we maybe twist the toe or we turn the toe a little bit so that we get really good alignment as well as just good work in the foot. Okay? So the foot is a very beleaguered part of our body. We either put 2 good or 2 bad shoes on it. We're always walking on very flat surfaces anymore. And so the foot needs all the help we can give it. In addition, when we do help it, and it does its job for us, it acts like this trampoline that supports not just the bones of the foot, and there are 26 bones in that foot, but it supports the ankle, the knee, the hip, the pelvic floor, the abdomen, the diaphragm, and probably your brain. So, so the more you can do with your foot, the more lively and part of the rest of your body your foot is, the healthier everything else in your body will be. All right, so as we start the toe corrector, I'm going to put it around 1 toe, and I'm going to try and put it close to the end of her toe, like at the final joint, as opposed to in the webbing. Okay, and if that feels too insecure, then go ahead and put it in the webbing. I'm going to ask Amy to leave her toes down, not resist me, but just leave them down. I'm going to pick her big toe up with the rubber band. So I pick it up, and she's going to feel a stretch as far as she feels it. Could go to the middle of her arch, might go to the end of her big toe. and then she's going to pull me down. So I'm going to let her a little bit, and she's going to pull me. So I pull her up. You do 3 to 5 on each toe, and she pulls down. So you'll notice on Amy's foot, she has a bunion like many of us do, all post dancers do. And so I'm going to try and encourage her toe to come down over here. So I'm giving her a little stretch, a little traction, and aligning the muscles and tendons a little bit better for her. And she could do that herself.
Feels great.
And it's not complicated. It's like, oh, that looks right. Okay, so that's all for that toe. And then we're going to move to the second toe. We're going to wrap the rubber band around the second toe.
I could help you and probably
You
do
could.
something.
You will do the other foot yourself.
Okay.
And then she's going to put all her toes down, and I'm going to pick her toe up for her. And you're going to want to help yourself here, but don't.
Yeah, this is
So
hard to
it's
not
hard
lift them all
not
up.
to lift them. So I'm picking her up and giving her a stretch, and I often think of it as like a popsicle length. So from the tip of her second toe to where it might end, think of it as a popsicle stick that might end in here. So we're searching for a stretch that deep into the arch. We may get it, we may not. And then she pulls me down. And I pull her up, and she pulls me down.
Oh, I feel it in my calf.
Yeah. And what you'll start feeling it perhaps also in your hamstrings. So depending on how related your one part of your body is to another, last time, and you pull me down.
Interesting.
Right. So the sole of the foot on a certain line of muscle is stretching and then contracting, okay, which is really Pilates. And then we're going to take it to the third toe, and we'll do 3 of them only.
Okay.
Okay. And just leave all of her other toes down and try to have them not help her. And I pull up, and she pulls down. Now, Amy is a Pilates teacher, and she can do this really well. Chances are you won't look this good or feel this comfortable. But don't worry about that, because it's not a competitive thing. It's just you working with your foot. Beautifully done.
Can I ask a quick question while we...
Yeah.
Would you recommend this? I think you may have already said this, but I'm thinking of my mom, who's 83, and some clients I work with who are maybe over 60 or even 70, who are starting to walk a little less efficient, I'm going to say it that way.
Yes.
And I've noticed their feet a little less dexterous. And,
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Okay, I thought so.
This, you know, the only impediment to doing this you'll see on your left foot is that you have to bend over and pick up your own toe.
Right,
Not that it's hard work, but you have to bend over.
Sure.
So, you know, they may have to go slowly, 1 toe one day, 2 toes next week kind of thing, depending how it feels on their back.
Yeah.
So I pick her up, she pulls me down.
This is harder to feel.
Yes, and some toes will be harder than other toes. I pick her up, she pulls me down. She's going to want to pull down with all the other toes. Not that that's damaging or bad, it's just inefficient. So when I pick up her 4th toe, it's her 4th toe that we would like her to use to pull down. One more time. Right.
There we go.
And usually by the third rep, you get it, you know, so that's good.
That was
And
like the
finally,
fourth.
here's your last one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I pick her up, and the little toe, as we've read in many, and you pull me down, as we've read in many journals, is one of those evolutionary pieces of the body that is on the way out, along with the appendix and the tonsils. So it could be in 500 years, people won't have little toes unless they do Pilates.
I was going to say, not a...
Okay, last one. You pull me down.
It's hard not to engage the other toes. But
Feel that stretch and use the stretching to contract. Nicely done. That's right. Well done. So now you try it on your other foot.
all right.
So you pick up your own toe with your hand.
Not to lift the others.
And you can put your other hand there, yeah. And then pull your big toe down. And if you wish to bring it more over here, yeah, you just pull your arm a little over here, right. Inhale and exhale. Breathe while you're doing it, although you do not have to breathe a specific way. Just as long as you continue to breathe, it will keep the tension out of your neck and shoulders and back.
It helped if I held lower. But
Okay, good. I did that too sometimes. Good. And then change toes. And you Pick it up, and she's searching for a stretch that goes all the way, as far as it can go, down through her arch towards her heel bone. And then when she feels whatever whispery feeling that is, she's going to try and employ it to bring her toe back down. And so therefore, we're doing antagonistic and agonistic muscle groups, and we're pumping the blood through places like, how many of us have cold feet even after a workout?
It's very challenging to not get the other toes in.
Yeah, and don't worry too much if they do. You know, it's not going to hurt you in any way. And as you got more familiar with it, just like anything, you would refine how you did it.
Right.
Nice, really nice, Amy. Exactly.
There it goes.
Yeah. And the third and fourth toes are kind of webbed together a little bit anyway, so they often work less well independently.
Whoops.
Nice. So this one you might want a traction forward a little bit, and you could use your left hand or your right hand, so you can change your hands to, you know, if one's getting tired, don't think you have to do the same hand. You can change them. Beautiful. And then toe first. Excellent.
There it
Exactly
goes.
so.
Whoops. Stop.
And you can only do a few, okay? So as I said earlier, maybe you do your big toes one day, and that's all you start with, and you feel that a little bit. And I met a person who had the worst bunions I've ever seen in my life. She had been an ex-ballet dancer, and her feet, she told me that she had the worst bunions. I didn't see them because what I saw of her feet, they were fabulous. And I asked her, how come? Did you have surgery? And she said, no, I did toe corrector.
Wow.
Every day, twice a day.
Wow.
And it completely rebuilt her foot. And then you can imagine if your basement rots or gets weak, the rest of your house is going to fall and sag and crack. But if the basement foundation is strong, the rest of the house will stay strong. So your feet are very valuable. So I'm going to have Amy stand up now and just like feel your feet against the floor. What do you feel that's, yes, a picked up feeling? You might even feel like a little bit of your inner thighs turned on just by chance. You might feel even a little tummy turned on without trying.
My hamstrings a little bit.
A little bit of hamstrings too, because as those lines in the sole of the foot work, stretch and contract, so do lines in the calves, and so do lines in the hamstrings. So coming all the way up to the sits bones and giving the pelvis some support too. So the toe corrector, if you could do one exercise, I hate to say it this way because I'm sure everyone says it on these podcasts, but if you could do one exercise every day and that was it, I would do this.
I kind of agree. Well, I agree with this one. I agree with
You
everything
agree?
they say.
She agrees in the moment.
In the moment, yeah. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this episode, and please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. For access to full Pilates classes, tutorials, and workshops, go to pilatesanytime.com. See you all next week.
Pilates Anytime is a virtual Pilates studio where you can take real classes with real students. We offer classes at all levels, and we add about 5 new classes every week. Pilates Anytime is always here for you, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.